Interested me the most, like from reading
Yeah.
like about you and listening to your music, was the literature part that you
Yeah.
just talked about. Like you wanted to be a writer growing. That
Mm-hmm.
was like your first love, writing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I loved reading growing up. And then I started writing books, but I never finished them. Like I never, I don't think there's one finished book on my computer. But I love writing.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, at the age of 12, I think I realized, oh, I can actually write songs. And it's also a way of writing, but not so long maybe. And I
Yeah.
can finish it more easily. And it has the part of music that I also loved and singing. And yeah, the combination, I think, catched me.
Yeah. Putting the two together just for
Yeah,
looks.
yeah.
So would you say like with this album and your first album that came, what was it, Seasons? Was the
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
Your first album, Seasons. Would you say that it's written like a book?
I think the current one definitely, because I thought of the songs as chapters. It could be very different characters each song, but it could also be one person experiencing all of these songs
Mm-hmm.
and then in the end coming to kind of a conclusion, which I think makes sense when you listen to the album as a whole.
Uh-huh.
My first album, it did have a very clear concept of seasons. Like the album was put into 4 parts for each season.
Mm-hmm.
So it started with the winter and then spring, summer, autumn. And the concept was very distinct, I think. So yeah, the songs were supposed to sound like that season. And I think it made really sense because the songs were not also like genre-wise, not super cohesive.
Uh-huh.
So you had songs that were very electronic in winter, and then you had songs that were very folky in spring and autumn. So I liked that concept for being really creative when it comes to finding your own sound.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily a book, but maybe you could see it that way
Okay.
if you think again of the perspective like one person experiencing all of these songs
Yeah.
one after another, and then it ends in the autumn. It could be, yeah.
In the book world, is there an artist? You know, in general, most all book people are like, yeah, this is our girl or this is our guy.
And I think a lot of them probably are Taylor Swift fans.
Okay.
Something like that. Maybe now Gracie Abrams.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I've definitely thought about that, like trying to address book talk or reach book talk more.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, there are songs on the album where I know, oh, this song was inspired by this book. So I could use that.
What book would you say inspired this album?
Oh, gosh. So many. I cannot list them all. There's one song on the album that's called 1985.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe someone can imagine it was inspired by 1984. And I basically imagined a song or a situation of a couple living a year later,
Mm-hmm.
still in the same world, because I read the book and I was really, I don't know, I thought about this book of like, oh yeah, it's this book that you have to read at school, and kind of like books at school were usually boring.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, probably boring. And I read it and I was so mesmerized by it. I was like, oh, this is a really fucking good book. And I don't know, I was really inspired by the world, like this dystopian world and this dystopian feeling and the mood and the vibe. So I tried to bring that into a song, but like a year later, and still the same thing, but you kind of have to sneak around and hide and you know, I thought that was really inspiring to me. So that's, I think, the only song that is really clearly that inspired by that book. But there were lots of books that inspired me. I guess Pride and Prejudice inspired me a bit, for Not That Kind.
Okay.
But also like fantasy books, like I you know, Fourth Wing was probably also an inspiration for Not That Kind a bit. I mean, there are lots of themes in these songs that could apply to several books, because a lot of books have the same, you know,
the same principle.
Yeah, different stories in detail, but overall it has the same vibe. I've also read Banana Yoshimoto.
Okay.
I don't know the book title in English though.
No, that's okay.
Oh, what was it called? I don't remember. But it was a very fairy tale like story. I'm really bad with names of books. I realize, which is weird because why do I remember the names of the authors but not the names of the books? But I feel like the names in German are also very random sometimes. German people love to name books like also movies. They also always have like these long names for movies that in English are just really short.
The French do that too. Like
so
they'll
random.
change it. It's like that's not what the English. They even put it in a different English. They'll change it.
Yeah.
To a different. Do you guys do that too, Jared?
Yeah.
Like make a whole different English name.
It happens. It happens. Yeah, I don't know why they do it, but yeah. But yeah, back to the books. I've read a lot of different things. One of my favorite authors is Markus Zusak, probably, because I think he's American. And yeah, I've read one book. I also don't remember the name, but it was about 5 brothers. I've read that while writing on this album too. And there was one love story in that book, which is not the main story, not the main part of the book, but it really, I don't know, it made me feel something. Yeah, not because I've experienced something like that, but it was very, very sad story, but very beautiful.
Okay.
So big recommendation on Markus Zusak.
And so what are you reading right now?
There's a new book from the Hunger Games series.
Okay.
And my mom is actually working at a children's bookstore.
Nice.
But just like for her retirement, like she was a teacher, but now she works there, and she always like gets the newest books that are coming out and are released. And I didn't even know that there was a new Hunger Games book. And yeah, I'm reading that right now. It's really good. It's really very dystopian too because of this world.
Vibes.
Yeah, same vibes, but it's before the other Hunger Games books.
Where did Vinter come from?
Oh, that story is actually